Last week, I put up a video that was pretty well received. It was a kind of antidote to the endless bad news that the media continues to push our way. I want to add to this and concentrate on the things that we can control in the face of the stuff that we can't. I call these the big levers that we can pull to improve our situation, no matter how bad things are in the big scary world. So, let's pull some levers. Hi and welcome back to the channel. My name is Pete Matthew and I'm a chartered financial planner based here in the UK. Now, if we're going to retain some sense of agency over our finances when the world seems to be spinning out of control, we need to know which levers we can pull and when to do so. So I have 4 levers for you to be aware of. The first is spending. I've said countless times on this channel that all financial planning success, no matter how big or small the numbers, comes down to spending control. Premiership footballers and lottery winners go bankrupt because they don't control their spending. And also they get involved in dodgy tax avoiding schemes sometimes. But as I record this in November 2022, all of us are seeing our spending rising because of the prices of basics, such as food and fuel, which are increasing at an alarming rate. If you've got a mortgage and your fixed rate deal is coming to an end, you're probably going to see an increase in your mortgage payments too because interest rates are rising. Now these you can't do much about, except to shop around where possible. Discretionary spending though, things like club memberships, TV packages, mobile phone upgrades, these are the things which are not essential and they can be cut if needed. Now most people watching this channel are not living month to month though, so it's likely going to be the bigger things that they've got used to that might need to go or at least be downsized or deferred, so things like holidays or changing the car. Spending less allows more disposable income to be put towards investments and pensions, or at least for them to be kept the same. While markets are distressed, the last thing we should be doing is reducing the amount that we're investing for the future. Markets are effectively on sale, and we should strive at least to maintain our current level of investment, if not increase it if we can. Next is tax and charges. One place that we so easily throw money away is by paying unnecessary tax and costs on our investments. We should use all the tax breaks that we're offered if we can. Now this starts with pensions and ISAs, of course, that's the easy things, and then it can move on to VCTs and EISs for those whose appetite for investment risk allows those kind of tax wrappers. If you're on the cusp of an income tax band, you need to be especially careful. A simple adjustment to your pension payment can keep you below the high rate threshold, for example. Added to that are things like the high income child benefit charge if your earnings are over £50,000, and the tapering of the personal allowance if you're earning over £100,000. Pension contributions can help mitigate the impact of these stealth taxes. There are nearly always opportunities to improve our tax position using legitimate means. But also there are the explicit costs that we pay on the money that we've already invested. And typically there are 3 levels of these costs. Firstly, portfolio charges, the costs of the funds that we use inside our pensions and our ISAs. The wrapper charges, which are the costs of the platforms we use, or the policy fees if we're using insured pensions, for example. And then there are advisor charges. That's the annual cost that you will pay to a financial advisor. And far too many people just pay no attention to these. While there's no sort of optimum or ideal number for your total cost of ownership of an investment, I guess maybe that would be 0, but we have to demand value at all levels of the chain. So using passive tracker funds or ETFs brings the costs of investing right down. But if you think there's value in investing in a particular actively managed fund, then that's your choice. Check the costs of your platform. Is there a cheaper one around? And if you haven't heard from your advisor since COVID and you're paying them 1% a year, what's the point? That money's better in your pocket. The third lever we can pull is intention. Getting and staying on top of our spending and the efficiency of our portfolio requires us to be intentional about these things. Intentional, that's one of my favorite words because it speaks about grabbing our lives with both hands and making the very best that we can of things instead of just drifting along, being blown about by whatever is a big deal right now. And in practice, I think this looks like a regular sit down with our partner, if we have one, to make sure that everything is in the right place. So we need to make sure that our life insurance program is still fit for purpose, for example. Maybe we've changed jobs, there's cover available there that means we don't have to pay for it ourselves separately. Maybe we've paid off our mortgage and we don't need the cover for that anymore. or the kids have flown the nest or whatever. Our lives can change a lot in 1 year, and having a formal sit down to look at our finances in light of those changes is essential. Being intentional is also about reminding ourselves of the fundamentals of investing discipline, that we don't meddle with our portfolios, especially when markets are very volatile. We invest over the long term and we pay no attention to short-term market movements. We ignore the media hype with all the inflammatory headlines like the lost decade and meltdown and other such garbage. See last week's video for more on that. But if we bring our intention to bear on our finances, nothing can stop us from achieving our goals, and that's really, really exciting. We got just one more lever to pull, and I'll get to that in just a sec, but if this is helpful so far, please help us out by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel if you're not already. It really, really does help us out because it keeps the channel visible, so thank you in advance. How do we know what the impact of our intentional spending and cost reduction will be? Are we just making things a little bit better or a lot better? Well, the only way I know to be sure is to use some maths. Bad news if you weren't very good at that at school like me. But if you think about it, reducing our spending means that we can leave more of our money invested or even redirect more of our income into our investments. If we reduce the costs of our portfolio through tax management and being aware of charges, we improve things significantly as we leave more money in there to compound for the future. If we cancel the insurance policy that we no longer need and overpay our mortgage by that amount, we can work out how much earlier we'll pay the thing off and how much interest we'll save as we do it. Now, it can be hard to put numbers on some of this, but there's some brilliant online calculators around. But the best tool I know for doing this is a proper financial planning tool called Voyant Go, and I make that available inside the Build Wealth and Retirement Planning phases of Meaningful Academy. And it's the pro-level app that my team and I use every day with our clients, and I teach you how to use it inside the Academy. And by following my video lessons, you can build your own plans and put some numbers on the impact of the things that we've been talking about. We have a Black Friday sale on right now, so now is a great time to jump in and see the difference that you could make. But you might be able to save thousands more in your working life by taking some of these steps. You might be able to retire earlier than you think. How cool would that be? You might be able to enjoy a richer retirement and give more to your family or to the causes that you care about. Pulling the right levers consistently throughout our lives enables all these things and more. So I hope that's helpful and maybe a little bit inspiring. Definitely check out meaningfulacademy.com. I'll put links in the description under the video. But thanks so much for watching. Try and pull these levers for yourselves, and I'll talk to you next time.